as we use AI and AI tools, to always ensure that we put our personality and our authentic selves into the outputs, not just doing copy and paste of whatever it gets from the output of the AI, but read it and ensure that if you were to write the same thing yourself, um, whatever output you are putting out there also reflects who you are and what you stand for and your personality. So that was really key for me from last week's session, along with every
Thank
other
you.
thing. Yeah.
Yes, Funny, thank you for letting us know what you learned last week. It's a very good place for us to start. Because there are different. Sometimes you just put some. It's what you give that you get, right? And so we appreciate that you can put your authenticity into these things, and it's very much to say yes. Today we're learning about prompt engineering, so it's important that as we're putting our authentic selves into this, we are able to put the right prompt and the right questions and the right text into this machine. And Oladimeji said the speaker's approach helped us to have good sides of AI and recommendation rather than recommendation everywhere because of its origin of concerns of originality. Thank you. Thank you for sharing your insights and for your learning points. A bit about textilers. We're founded in for most of us. We're founded in 2020 as a community to support and focus on women who desire growth in technology. So we cut across every ladies, girls, women, because we believe that generally the female gender and the men who support us we have amazing superpowers, and we have the ability to use technology skills to solve real life problems. So we aim to continually bring in more people into tech through training, mentorship, and sessions like this, inspirational sessions. So today's session is being recorded and to be available for viewing on our YouTube channel. Please, the Q&A is open. You can put in your questions, so don't mix it up with the chat, and so that your questions will be answered directly. So the session itself generally is the AI for all session is a response to our feedback as a community, because without the community, there's no textilers. And so from the feedback we got from the community, this 7 week session, and today is the second of the 7 weeks, was designed for us all. We don't need to have prior technical experience, and it's a learning path for some certifications. It runs from September 9th, started last week, and ends September 19th. But beyond that, we believe in lifelong learning and lifelong skills, and we trust that we are able to take away the knowledge from here for a longer time. So these are all our speakers, beautiful, amazing ladies that we have for us. And so we have prompt engineering, um we have our AI skills, we have AI and security that's also coming up. And so we hope and trust that you'll be here with us. So very quickly, to let me tell you about our guest for today. Our speaker for today, her name is Sandhya Oza. She's the co-founder and chief project officer at Data Science Wizards. I hope nobody's intimidated. Well, she has come here to share because she leads in the AI and data space of that unit, and she has been of that development, and she has been there for 8 years. So she's bringing her skills, her experiences, the experiences she's had at the leading UK tech firm. She holds a master's in data science from National College of Ireland and an IC group from Mumbai University. She spearheads project development and delivery. She manages end-to-end science projects with focus on technical and non-technical aspects. So yes, she is aware of our audience. We have technical and non-technical persons on the call, so we trust and believe that she's able to talk to all of us, no matter where we are, whether we're trying to get into tech or we're already in tech as professionals or we're students, however we are, because she has a commitment to stay in the forefront of technology and consistently drive innovation within the landscape of technology. So, ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming Sandhya as she takes up the stage and shares her amazing insights with us today. Thank you so much for joining us.
Great. Thank you, Lara, for the wonderful introduction, and thank you everyone for joining today. I know it's a Saturday and you guys might be busy having plans and a lot of things, but you have dedicated this time for your learning, and I really appreciate that. And you really would, I would, uh, like, it's my commitment to make sure that you understand this topic which we are taking today. So feel free to ask questions. Feel free to stop me anywhere where you have more doubts, or I'm going fast, or I'm going too slow, or like that. Please do help me learn on that, and let's together learn this topic today with textilers. So shall we start, Lara, or we wait for a couple of minutes to for more people to join, or how's it?
It's okay to start because it's being recorded.
We can get started, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
please.
I'll quickly share my
Thank you.
screen. Please do let me know if it's visible. Is it visible?
Yes, it is. Data
Yeah,
prompt engineering.
correct. Yeah. So, hi audience. So today we are going to touch base on prompt engineering, and as Lara spoke, that we are in this marathon of AI for all sessions where we are targeting the new technologies and new advancements that are coming in AI. And I believe it's very important for all of us to be aware of these developments because these are at a very rapid pace that are happening. So if you want to make a career in technology, then definitely we need to uh, be aware of these things. So today we are going to touch base on prompt engineering. Now, before prompt engineering, I would like to touch base on the topic of generative AI. So the agenda today that I'm going to cover in this session is that we are going to start with generative AI. We are going to learn about what are LLMs. Then we are going to learn about what are prompts, and what is prompt engineering. Why is it required? Why is it important? How can you prompt the LLMs in a much better way to get desired results in a very less amount of time and less amount of efforts. Because just like you are conversing with a friend, right? Prompts are nothing but those sentences that you say so that you get answers from the LLMs ready made, and this can help build your career. This can help to improve your productivity as well as leverage the technology to make sure that you learn better, make sure that you work better, make sure that you complete task in record time, and also with less efforts and more, and you have more time for learnings and more time for the other things, right? So we are going to roughly touch base upon all of these things. Now, let's first understand what is generative AI, right? Gen AI. Now, generative AI is nothing but it's a discipline of AI wherein new content is generated basis the patterns that the LLM is learning from the existing data. Now, why we call it as generative AI is because it's generate results, right? It helps you generate the future say summaries. It helps to generate future content. It helps to predict the outcomes of the future data basis the past data. And this is where the applications of generative AIs are. Like, people today are using generative AI in writing articles, in creative content, creative summaries, creating, generating art and images and videos through LLMs like DALI. Then they are also writing codes with generative AI. Like, one of the sessions that we are going to see in the future session is GitHub Copilot, right? And Microsoft Copilot. So these are some of the major areas where generative AI is being used, and it is actually making a lot of differences because these LLMs are trained on all static data that was available today, right? So the more and more they are trained, the more and more better they are getting. And For us to train those kind of a model, it's practically impossible because of the resources, because of the data that is required to for them to train those models and everything. Hence, we can leverage the open source models and the open source technologies that are available, and make sure that we utilize those to complete our task. Moving forward, let's see, generative AI is one of the major important part of generative AI is the LLMs, right? LLMs are nothing but they are models, they are AI models that are being trained on say huge amount of data which is available since centuries in the system, right? So they are nothing but AI models that generate human like language by understanding the text patterns. Okay, so they have been learning from all this data on Wikipedia, from social media, from other sites like Twitter, then from all sort of data, on the Google and everything, all the blogs and everything, articles. They have been trained on all of that. So hence, the new use cases that you are bringing in, like if you want to say write an article, right? Then if you say, give me an article of 500 words in on say on climate change, then it will quickly create a climate change article of 500 words and give it to you in within seconds, right? Which was originally taking time of say couple of days for us to build a good article of 500 words which can be published somewhere, right? So there are n number of applications of LLMs that we are seeing now. Major use cases that you can see is our chatbots, our virtual assistants, that majority of the people are using Gen AI and LLMs, pre-trained LLMs into customer service, wherein they are automating the task of generating responses for the repeat emails, right? The customer service that they do. So they are doing that. And also you might have seen of Gmail autocomplete. When we are writing email, it suddenly suggest you the next word that can come into that line, right? So that's nothing but generative part of the model that these applications are bringing in. Now, popular models are GPT. Then you might have heard about Mistral. You might have heard about Deepface. You might have heard about Claude from Anthropic. A lot of all the big companies are, bringing their own LLMs into play, because that's how the AI, is evolving into this field. Now, before I go to prompt, do we have any questions so far? Any questions
None
so far?
yet in the Q&A and none yet in the chat.
Okay, perfect. Now,
I'll prompt you once we have one.
correct. So, thank you, Lara, for that. So, one of the major aspects of LLM is input, output, and all of that. But one of the major aspects of conversing with these LLMs is the prompts. Now, prompts are nothing but the instructions that you give to an LLMs for its output, right? As for example, you can consider LLM as one person, right? If LLM was a person, you are telling that person what do you need. You are giving his the instruction to him that do this for me. So LLM is nothing but an AI model, and prompt is nothing but a message conversation style that you are doing with that person to make sure that it returns you the output that you want. Now, why prompts matter is that they shape the quality and relevance of the AI output. Now, suppose we take an example that if I assume the same thing, that LLM is a person, right? I will tell that person that say my intention is to tell that person that I need a glass of water, right? And I tell him that I am very thirsty. So these are two very contradictory statement, right? I am very thirsty doesn't mean that I need a glass of water, right? It indirectly means that, but it won't that LLM won't understand, because it says that you are thirsty, so he don't know that what needs to be done when you are thirsty, right? But you have to train that, making sure that you are giving instruction in a clear way that I need a glass of water, right? So that's how LLMs and prompt work. So prompt is nothing but a way that you converse with the LLMs to get the desired output. Now, the more specific and more straight and more detailed you will be, the more better outputs you can generate through the prompts, right? For example, if you can see the example on the screen, that write a blog about climate change. Now, when we say write a blog about climate change, it's a very wide aspect, right? It will consider all air, water, soil, all kind of climate change into it, and it will give you some mixed answer of that, right? But if you say that, write a 500-word blog on how climate change impacts agriculture in developing countries, then it will give you a more specific result on, taking into consideration the developing countries' economy, how that agriculture is performing, and, how climate is impacting that, right? So if you want some specific results, you have to be very specific with the prompts, basically. Now, prompts basically has four parts. It's the instructions that we are giving them, so that we need to perform the performance statement that we need to give them. Write a summary, create an image. So these are nothing but instructions that we want that LLM and to do. Correct. So that's one of the important aspect, which is called as instruction. Now, context is nothing but the model. Context is what streamlines the model into the problem. For example, do I need an image of, say, a cartoon? Do I need an image of, say, a nature? Do I need an image of a person? So I need to give them a context, right? So context is a very important part of the prompt. So instruction plus context, and then comes the input, right? If I want some output based on certain inputs, then I need to provide those input to the prompt, right? In the prompt itself. For example, if I want my LLM to provide me a summary of something, now what that something, right? That text I need to provide the LLM that please give me a summary of this paragraph, right? So that's the input. An output indicator, that how do you want that output to be? Do you need it in the bulleted form? Do you need it in a PPT form? Do you need a document of it? Or do you need some, say, solution paper or approach paper or some research paper kind of stuff? Then you need to all club all of these things while writing prompts. So these are majorly most important part that you need to keep in mind while writing prompts, that am I giving them the instructions very clearly? Have I given them the context? Do I need to provide any input, right? And have I, made sure that the LLM understand what kind of output do I need, right? So these are the major aspects of the prompt. Now let's dig into prompt engineering. Now we have understood, like, generative AI, which is a very wide topic right now. It's under generative AI, LLM is a very important part. And to have a conversation with the LLM, we need prompts, right? But to make sure that the LLM understand the instructions in a very proper way, there are certain techniques, right, that we can do. And that's nothing but that is called as prompt engineering. So prompt engineering is nothing but it's an art of designing the prompts to make sure that you have quality outputs from the LLMs, right? So on your screen, you can see that, some examples, right? That if I go to ChatGPT and say explain antibiotics, now it will give me a very very general answer, very vague answer, that antibiotics are this, antibiotics are that, they do this, they do that. But if I want some very specific, say, two-line answer, then what I would say is explain in one sentence. So again, I am instructing my LLM to reduce the answer to one sentence, and it is giving me that, as a result, right? So that's how this prompt engineering works, that you are playing with your prompts to make sure you to get your desired output from the LLMs. Now, why prompt engineering is important is, now we roughly spoke about that, right? To make sure that we get the maximum and possible quality output from the models that we need. Prompt engineering. Now, prompt engineering is also required to handle the complex task, right? For example, I want my LLM to build a research paper. So, I just can't say that, build a research paper on this topic, right? I need to give them more instructions. I need to cut down my instructions into, say, possible steps. Step by step, I need to tell them, that start with the introduction, end with the research papers biology, then include the introduction part in this format, include the IEEE format, include the other format, and like that. So make to avoiding to make sure that the LLM avoid misinterpretation, I want to give do the prompt engineering with my prompts so that it gives me the desired output. Okay. Any questions so far?
Hi, Sandhya, we're following.
You're following, right? So I'm not going
Yes.
too fast, right? You're able to understand what I'm saying, correct? All of you.
I, yes, we are.
Okay,
There's thumbs up. There's
great.
their reactions saying that we can. We're following you promptly.
So basically, net, we do prompt engineering to, make sure that we have quality output, we have proper all the output, and we can, make use of LLM to do our daily tasks, to do our daily generations, content generations, and everything through LLMs in very, less amount of time. And to make sure that the LLM avoid misinterpretation of the information, we need to give them the clear prompt, right? So that is the reason we require prompt engineering. Now we will take a deep dive into how what are the tips to effective prompting, right? So we already spoke about this, right? Be very clear and specific. Just don't write vague instructions like say I'm thirsty, like that example. If you can take it, I am thirsty is not doesn't at all for a computer to understand that. He will not understand that whether I am thirsty means do you need water, do you need food, do you need something else, right? So be very clear and specific. Use context so that it understand that what background you're asking questions from, right? So I need water from, say, I need cold water, right? So that's a context, right? You need cold water, you don't need, you are being more specific with the LLM. And you can test and iterate. So more and more you play with the prompts, you get to know about how do you refine it. You need to test it again and again, and make be better at prompting, right? So if you could see the example here, write the description for a phone. Now this is a very very general statement, right? The LLM won't understand what kind of phone you are expecting, what is the hardware, what is the software, what should be the battery life and everything. But on the other side, if you give it an instruction, say write a description for a smartphone with 108 MP camera, 5G and 12-hour battery life, targeting tech-savvy consumers, then it will give you a more specific answers, right? So this is a more better prompt option rather than the vague prompt options. So that is the reason we have to be very specific with the prompts that we are writing. Right. So these are some of the general tips that you can consider while chatting with chat GPT or any kind of stuff. Now, basic techniques of prompt engineering is um so there are a lot of techniques. I mean, in machine learning also, when we say machine learning, then machine learning, there are a lot of algorithms, right? There are linear regression, there are logistic regression for certain types of task and everything, right? Similar to that, in prompting, we have different kind of techniques to do prompting. Now, zero shot prompting is the one very basic prompting. It's like write the story about a dog who became a hero, right? So here you are not actually providing any example. What kind of dog? What kind of hero? When it he became the hero, and all of that. You are not giving any kind of example or any kind of direction to the LLM that what are you expecting. Now if you see the other example, classify the given text as positive, negative or neutral. This is also a very straight statement. You are not giving any example. What does do you mean by positive, do you mean by negative, what do you mean by neutral? The LLM doesn't know, right? So what we will do is the training data it has been trained on, it will take the context from that, right? It will not actually ask you what is the context, but what it does is it has been trained on millions and millions of records on the social media, millions and millions of records on Wikipedia. So it by himself knows that what is positive, was it what is negative and what is neutral, right? So it will give you answers basis that. Correct. So that's called zero shot prompting. I mean, this is very direct structures of model to perform tasks without any additional examples to stir it, right? So that's what zero shot prompting is. So this is the first thing that we do, right? When we start conversing with the LLM, that give me a summary of climate change. So that's a very straight statement. I'm not giving any example. I'm not giving any kind of instructions more than that, right? So that's called zero shot prompting. Now, further to that, to make sure that the LLM understand and give specific answers, we can give them some examples. And giving examples means you are doing some few shots, right? You are That's called few shot prompting. What you are doing is that translate the sentences hello to hola, goodbye to adios, now is, and translate to thanks to thank you, right? So these kind of examples, when you are giving along with your prompts, it's called few shot prompting, right? So few shot prompting is nothing but it enables the LLM to understand the context more better, so that it can perform better, right? Shall we move ahead? Perfect. Now, these are the two major techniques that are used very, very widely, right, for by all the consumers of ChatGPT and everything. But there are certain few advanced techniques also in prompt engineering, which we can look at. So, one of the major used is chain of thoughts, right? That you want to solve a problem. So in school we used to solve math problems, right? Like that was very step by step. You used to add numbers, then subtract it, then say find out the square of it. So there were certain steps that you were taking. So chain of thought is nothing but taking step by step approach to arrive to the answer, right? You can see the example here, that on the left hand side it's a standard prompting technique, right? Roger has 5 tennis ball, he buys 2 more cans and tennis ball, each can has 3 tennis ball, how many tennis ball does he have? So the answer is 11, right? This kind of prompt, and if you give it this way, the answer might be always wrong, right? Because it doesn't understand that kind of knowledge, and it doesn't have that kind of complexity knowledge to make sure that you arrive at the right answer. But if you give it a step by step instruction, then it will understand the right hand side how it arrives to the correct answers, correct? And you might also be learning about GPT 4.0, which is launched, say last week, because and it has more reasoning capabilities. So such kind of when we say reasoning capabilities, it is nothing but a chain of thought prompting that is being done at the back end, so that it reasons whatever is being asked, and arrive at the conclusion more in a human way. Like we do not take instruction as is, right? As humans, we first make sure that if someone says that please jump down from say ninth floor, you will not do that, right? You will question them, why should I do that, right? What is the purpose of doing that? You will not straight away go and do that, right? So that's called reasoning, that you're reasoning whatever is being asked to you. So that's what the LLM is also doing here through the chain of thoughts. You're providing it the instructions one by one by one, so make sure that you arrive at the right answers through the reasoning. So that's what the chain of thought is. And there's another technique called self consistency, which is you are asking, multiple times the same questions. What is the capital of Australia? It will say first Melbourne. It will say, it will, arrive at some other answers the next time. It will arrive at another answer at the next time. So once you ask the same question multiple times, it will give you multiple answers, and, and choose the most consistent answer. So that is called self consistency prompting. Okay. Now, another two type of more advanced prompting is meta prompting and the RAG prompting. Now, meta prompting is nothing but the focus of prompt is more on the structure, right? How do you want the output? That do you want it in a detailed format? Do you want to look at the accuracy of the response, or how is it, right? So that's where when you want to make sure that your output is in certain way. For example, we took the example of research paper, right? I want my research paper to be written in IEEE style. So what I will say is my focus in the prompt will be more on the structure and the style of writing, right? That please give me a research paper on this topic following the IEEE format, starting from the introduction and ending on bibliography and everything. So I will make sure that the prompt understand that the LLM understand that this is my focus is on the way that content is being written, right? So that's what meta prompting is. So the more and more emphasis that you give on form and pattern of the information, the more and more better results that you get, which is against the traditional content centric methods, right? So before answering, if we tell them that, think about how can you provide the most detailed and accurate response, so it will think, it will give you more example, it will give you more links to the examples wherein, according to the prompts that you give. So that's called meta prompting. And on the other side, RAG is retrieval augmented generation, wherein you are providing some input in the form of some links, right? Say Wikipedia, right? You the classic example, you can say that, you want a summary of, say, key benefits of solar energy, and you're passing a link of Wikipedia where entire solar energy page is there, which is talking about a lot about solar energy, where it is booming, where it is, declining, what is the need of it, what is the pros and what is the cons of it, what technologies are being developed into it, and everything. Now you just give in your prompt that link, and you say that, summarize some key information to make sure that I have the key benefits of the solar energy. So it will give you that entire answer. It will churn all that data from the link, and it will give you the most specific answers, like the key benefits of solar energy. So that's how these prompting techniques work. That, the more you want to be focused, what is your focus to get from the NLM, the output, right, in the form of the output. So basis on that, you need to change your techniques. Any questions so far? Which of the prompts have you been using, zero shot or few shot prompting? So I have been using a lot of, I would say, mix of all these techniques, because we do not realize that, what kind of prompting technique that we are using, but more and more we try noticing that, what kind of prompts we are using, we would be able to do that. I mean, if you are giving some vague, uh, uh, say, I want to generate an image of nature, right? This is like a zero prompt. This is zero shot prompt, because you're not specifying whether you need river in that image, whether you need trees in that image, you whether you need, some, whether you're not providing any example to the LLM, right? That what kind of image do you want? So that's called zero shot prompting. Then if you provide some example to it, for example, you just pass on an image of mountains to the LLM and say that, create a similar image. That's called a few shot prompting, because you are providing some example, and basis that example, the LLM will create the new images, and that will be more specific to your needs, right? Your requirements. I hope I was able to answer that.
Yes, thank you.
Perfect. Now we can also see more techniques like prompt chaining and tree of thoughts. So prompt chaining is again, like you are giving first prompt, list the ingredients of a chocolate cake. So what it will do is, it will give you an entire list that you need flour, you need eggs, you need chocolate, you need uh, more things like oven, you need cooker. If you don't have oven, you can have this, you need sugar, you need milk, and everything. So it will give you a list of all the ingredients, right? Now on the second prompt, you will say, now basis this list, give me a recipe. So recipe can be anything, right? It could be oven based, it could be a pressure cooker based, or it could be a general purpose. Say you don't have any of these two things, then it will give you a general purpose recipe. So basically, what you're doing is, you're providing one set of one set of instructions in prompt one. Then you, on basis of that, you are doing the second prompt, and on the basis of that, you're doing the third prompt, right? So that is called prompt chaining. You are building a chain of instructions one by one, as basis the answer that the LLM is giving, right? And tree of thoughts, on the other hand, is like generating multiple solutions and evaluate them. For example, I would say that, give me what I would say, that give me different types of ice creams example, and different types of recipes for cooking. For what I would say, I don't like cooking much, so I don't have cooking examples, but different types of, you can say, different types of cakes, right? Then what it will give you, that it will give you different methods of cooking the chocolate cake. Now basis different methods, you can choose one of them, right? So what it is doing is, it is building a tree of solutions for you, correct? And basis the tree of solutions, you can choose more one of them, and you can move forward. correct? So that's, I think you must, if any of you have used chat gpt, sometimes it's give two answers, right? One on the other side and second on the other side, and if you choose one, it will give you next answers basis that, it will select that for you and move forward from there. So that's how it works. It builds a chain of solutions, a tree of solutions for you, and then basis what you select, it will move forward from there, right? So that is called tree of thoughts. Now we have seen roughly major techniques that we use. Now there are more techniques to it. There are meta prompting. Inside meta prompting also there are a lot of techniques. Then there is generate knowledge prompting. Then prompt. Automatic prompt engineering and everything, active prompt, directional stimulus prompting, and a lot of other techniques. But I have tried to cover here some major, day-to-day life prompting that you can also use in your day-to-day life to make sure that you get the, the desired output from the ChatGPT kind of agents, right? So now what we can do is, we have all knowledge of prompting right now, right? How do we make sure that it is giving me the correct results? So majority of the time what happens is that these LLMs are trained on all sort of general knowledge, right? It's Wikipedia, like if you say Wikipedia, it's general, right? It's completely open. It has all sort of knowledge. There's no specific domain that it caters to, or there is no any specific persona that it caters to. So the LLM is actually trained on all TBs of data that is being there in the market, that is being there on the social media and everything. So expecting specific answers from them is very you say very high demanding, right? So unless you uh, ask questions in that particular detail, right? But how do you check that? So one important aspect of evaluating those LLMs and prompts that you are taking is the accuracy of the answer. Now whether my solution is accurate, whether it's giving me the accurate results that I'm asking, right? That you can see, and the relevancy. So if you are not providing it a topic, what topic it is giving me answers on. So if you are not providing any topic, you can see that how relevant answers it is giving me, right? So that is one of the metric that you can judge the prompts on. And the consistency. So when you ask ChatGPT multiple questions on the same topic, right? Whether it is able to follow the same context right from start to the end, right? If you're say you started with question number one, but on question two and question three, it is forgetting the context of where you started, then that is not the right way of prompting. Then you may need to make sure that there is consistency in the answer, right? You will not start from question number one all the time, right? You need to know that it's on the 10th question also it is able to understand that what did I asked in the earlier session, the entire session, and give you the answers basis on that, right? So that's what, these are the three major parameters that we can judge our prompt engineering skills on. Okay. Now, what I'll do is that we have mastered, say, number of techniques in the prompt engineering and everything. Now, if you want to optimize it further, right? You might not be, you shouldn't write the complete story in the prompts, right? It's that I need a summary of this thing. Then you just need to provide that paragraph. You don't need to provide that paragraph contains a person, and the paragraph is talking about the life of that person and everything. Even if that data is there, for example, if we take an example of data analysis, I'm just providing churn data of telecom domain to a LLM, right? So I don't need to provide context of it, that this data is from the telecom background. It has 8,000 rows, it has 84 columns, and it contains the PI data of the customers, it contains the total payment details and everything of the customers. I don't need to provide those details. I will just upload the file and I will ask the LLM itself to give me the answers that tell me about, if I ask the LLM tell me about this data, it should be able to answer you, right? So that's where the optimizing part takes place, that how do you optimize your prompts to make sure that it gives you the correct answer, right? So these are the four different aspects of optimizing the prompt design, that you need to have the specificity and clarity, right? Just like giving instructions to a human, prompt should clearly articulate the desired outcome. Ambiguity can lead to unexpected and irrelevant outputs, right? We have spoken about this in multiple examples right now, that you cannot expect the LLM to know that you need a glass of water when you say that I'm thirsty, right? So that's how you need to be specific and you need to be clear with the prompts. Now, structured inputs and outputs. What you can do is LLMs at the back, they don't actually take your prompts as is. They convert that into JSON, they convert that into XML and the machine readable form that is required, right? Yes. So AI can learn from the repeated prompts. Yes. So they do learn. They update their memory while you are into the same session and make sure that every time you are asking the same question, it will give you a refined answer. And basis that you can select the most prominent answer and most consistent answer from that. Then you have task decomposition from complex operations, right? So you, if you want to say create a big research or approach paper, then you have to, divide that task into multiple prompts, and then the LLM will be able to understand it step by step and it will give you a more refined answer, right? And the delimiters for enhanced structure. Now, if you're using, say, colon, if you're using certain things to make sure that it understand what is input, what is output, what is instruction, and use those kind of delimiters into your prompts, it will make it more specific. It will make it more refined, and you will get answers in a more better way. Now, moving forward, the real world examples, right? So the practical use cases of Gen AI and prompt engineering are seamlessly, like it's LLM generative AI is being used in all sort of domains, like be it banking, be it insurance, be it telecom, manufacturing, healthcare. Everybody is using Gen AI in some or the other way. Now, though there are certain considerations that needs to be done in terms of security of information, in terms of security of the data and everything, but still, as of now, Gen AI is something that is being widely used as an alternative to traditional methods, traditional NLP techniques that we were using to make sure that we are arriving at a result. We are building these use cases in a much record time and also very fast and very seamlessly, right? So real world examples, you can talk about, healthcare AI summarizing the research papers, then, writing AI generating pilot ideas from movies or books, right? And content creation, of course. So if you go to chat gpt, say that I need 5 social media content ideas for say selling this product, right? So it will give you some 5 6 examples of those that content, right? Social media, it will give you 5 6 paragraphs of social media content, and you can then refine it further, and or you can choose one of it and move forward, right? So the applications of Gen AI is effortless, and it's going to be very 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 much widely used in the future times. And with Gen AI, prompting is the only way that the LLM learns, right? So prompt engineering is something that is a very high in demand skill right now that you need to know, because you are conversing with LLM, which is nothing but a machine, right? So you need to know how do you make sure that the machine works at your fingertips and give you the desired output without asking it multiple times. You just to be very specific in the first prompt itself, and it gives you the desired results. Yeah, I'm open to questions and feedback.
Hi, Sandhya. Thank you. I was going to
So,
ask the audience a question, but before then, there's a question in the Q&A. Which
yes,
AI tool gives the most current information? I know that ChatGPT has a limitation in terms of how current its information is.
correct. So there are a lot of tools. I mean, these days there is ChatGPT, there is OpenAI Playground, there is Perplexity. Then there are a lot of other tools as well, like for generating AI and generating images. There are LLMs like Lava 3.1, which gives you more better vision based task, because they are built for that kind of data, right? So if you want to generate an image, you need to go to those kind of tools. So for all the general tasks, ChatGPT does a great job right now, because they have been working on refining the models again and again. So we can see that it started from GPT-3, and right now it's then came GPT 3.5, then came 4, then came 4.0 and everything, right? So what they are doing in the back end is they are refining it more and more and more. And also earlier, if you remember, GPT 3 was only on the specific amount of data. I mean, it was not on the current data, right? So, but those limitations are also now those limitations are not there, because they have trained the GPT model in such a way that it can also give you the it can also churn the current data that is available online, right, from any kind of source and everything, and give you the answers in the latest form. Correct. So yeah, ChatGPT is one of the major thing. Then there is a tool called Perplexity. Now Perplexity is majorly for more specific research kind of stuff, because it will give you links to the research. It will not generate answers by itself, but it will churn the I would say the links that you provide, and also the links that are available online, and give you the references as well. So let me show you some examples.
Okay, while the examples are coming up, I was wondering if we so Sandhya showed us some real life applications, some industries where you can use the chat GPT. I was wondering if people we would like to share, if anyone would like to share a life example of where they have used an AI prompt and it didn't give an accurate result. So we know that we have learned about accuracy today. We've learned about how to test the efficiency of the prompts. Yes, how to test the efficiency of a prompt. So I was wondering, is there anyone that would like to share maybe an experience of a very vague instruction they gave and then they got a vague response?
Hello, Lara.
Hi, Olive.
Hi, hi. Yes. Well, I've had a lot of occasions where I ask a question, and from the answer that I use Chat GPT a lot of the time. From the answer that it gives, I know I have to give more information. So first of all, I might start from a bit vague, and then from the answer I make it more specific, and I basically keep on modifying it until I get what I'm looking for. Okay, so I have that instance. Then I've also had the instance where I've asked a technical question. I think it was I asked the question and I needed an answer in Python, and it gave me the wrong answer. So it's like it gave me the answer and included an item. I think it was to do with a list. It included an item which wasn't meant to be in there. And I know I had to say to it that, no, this is wrong. This is what I want. I had to do it about 3 or 4 times. And, each time it will say, oh, I'm so sorry, I misunderstood you. Now this is the answer. And it was still wrong but because I knew what I was looking for, I eventually got the correct answer by, continuing to press and press until it gave me the right answer.
Correct. So Olive, you have been testing and iterating on your prompts, and that is nothing but, you can call it as chain of thoughts, right? So you are providing your thoughts to it, one about the other, and you are trying to get to the desired outcome, right? So that's nothing but that's prompt engineering. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you very much.
So let me share my screen.
Olive was saying something about the fact. Yes, you can share your slide. I'm just building on the question. Please share your slide.
Sure. So if you see here, this is the classic ChatGPT, right? So if I just click on, so there are a lot of things available on ChatGPT right now. There are more and more things which are available. So create a cartoon illustration of my pet. This is an example of, say, zero shot prompting, right? So it's like you haven't given an example of your pet, right? It probably will ask you for image of an example of your pet, whether it's a dog, whether it's a cat, whether it's, other thing and like that. But this is also, these are all zero shot prompting that you can see first. But if I click on, say, can you help me create a personalized morning routine that would help increase my productivity throughout the day? Start by asking me about my current habits and what activities energize me in the morning. So see, it's starting with zero prompting, but then it is asking you to give more specific details about yourself, right? So that's what prompt, these kind of prompt engineering techniques which we learned about, these works. Now if I say that, give me a morning routine for a vegetarian person, right? So possibly it might give me some different answers. So I was talking about tree of prompting, right? Tree of thoughts. So this is nothing but tree of thoughts. It's like it's giving you two separate solutions basis, and it is asking you to choose that solution so that it can move forward basis the one that you choose, right? So say if I choose the first one, I think it's still generating. So what it says is that this routine ensures that your mind, body, and nutrition are aligned for productivity and sustained energy, all while being vegetarian friendly. So feel free to adjust timing and activities based on your preferences and work schedule. So it gives you a result that I prefer this response, or this is a short one that it has given you, and you can say that I prefer this response. So whatever you choose, it will update its memory basis that, right? So this is nothing but an example of tree of thoughts that is given, and it is given you lot of information on that, and now you can do the further conversation on that.
So how personalized can these prompts be?
It could be very personalized. Say I start my day at 10 a.m. say, and I usually prefer, I usually say, do not prefer gym in morning. Adjust the above plan according to the given instructions and make it short. Now, if you see here, what I'm doing is I'm giving him multiple instructions, right? I'm giving him some inputs that you can see here. Then I'm also breaking it down into another thing that, I need you to adjust the above plan as well as make it short. I want such a big plan, right? I don't need such a big plan. So what I'm doing is I'm giving him some instruction, which is nothing but input, and you can see that it is updating the memory, right? So when you say memory updated, it says it is learning from your responses, right? This is doing nothing but learning from your responses and making sure that it will give you the desired output. See, it has completely shortened the descriptions, right? And it still needs to learn that I have given him the time as 10 a.m., right? So you can say that I want you to learn that I wake up at 10 a.m. Now, if you just give it this instruction also, it will try to, update the answers basically on that. So basically, it's like you don't need to give the big paragraphs of instructions all the time, but what it is doing it is actually building upon all the previous answers that it has given and the instructions that you are giving it, right?
Yeah, I had a question on that. So, so it has updated the memory right now. Would that be applicable if you sign up or log in? So you know how you could just go to a browser and then just randomly check for an AI tool, then ask a question without necessarily logging in or signing up. So would it be better to just sign up or log in so that you can have the memory updated, or it's okay to just be freelance?
So
What's
basically,
your opinion about that?
yeah, I would say we should log in, because I would say I have been, this is my login, right? So you can see here, it stores everything, right? So if you just go without login, the next time you come here, it will not be able to do that. You will not get this, correct? So
Right,
I would
right.
say just create a free login and just explore that. So even GPT, what they do is that they have certain kind of, you can actually change the models here as well. So you can use the Chat GPT for everyday task, or you can use the Chat GPT plus. Now there is an upgrade options anyways. So all the major GPTs that is available, that you need to switch between different LLMs that is running at the back end. You need to upgrade it to plus, which is also nominal. I mean, $20 a month is not a great, that big amount if you have some specific task and some very important tasks to be done basis ChatGPT, right? If you are a writer, if you are an article creator, if you are a content creator, I would definitely go for this, because it will give you more refined answers. I will be able to use DALI, I will be able to use GPT, all sort of GPT models and everything, correct? And there are open source model also that are available. So if you are, say, more tech savvy, you know basics of technology, and you know a good knowledge of coding and programming in AI and machine learning and everything. There are a lot of, I would say, you are able to see my screen, right?
Right.
On GitHub. So GitHub is nothing but a repository wherein you can find all the sort of technologies which are open to use, right? So there are a lot of models, open source model that you can use, but this is like, you have to do some background work. You have to take the code, and you have to implement it in such a way that you are able to get outputs from it and everything, right? So instead of that, I would prefer, if you are using it for a daily purpose and everything, I mean, ChatGPT does a great job. But just that you need to make sure that your prompts are better and better each time you are conversing with it, right? So yes, that's how it is.
Okay. There's a question. How do you ensure that concise prompts convey detailed instructions or questions effectively to the AI system? Okay, I think we've touched on that a bit, the conciseness of the prompts. But if you'd like to maybe share further light on that, you'll be okay.
So how do you ensure the concise prompts convey detailed instructions or questions effectively to the AI system? So that's something that you will only get to know when you get the results, right? So how relevant are those results? How clear are those results? And whether it's contain all the factors that you need to say basically all the factors that you need in that answer, right? For example, if I say ChatGPT that, let me just go back. Um, Create a solution approach paper for AI in healthcare, right? So this is a very specific instructions, because it contains create. Create is an instruction, right? I want him to it to create a solution approach paper. That's a specific instruction, and I'm also giving it a topic of what topic I want it to create, right? That is AI in healthcare. Now I am going to make it more specific, that add as much add trend data and statistics from Gartner wherever possible for AI in healthcare, right? So what I've done is I have given him an additional instruction that I want statistics and trends also to be considered in this answer, right? And you can see right now it will give you a solution approach paper which generally has that format, right? It will give you executive summary, it will give you introduction, then it has given you Gartner insights on AI adoption in healthcare and everything. And then has also given you current trends in AI in healthcare, key trends, personalized medicine, then AI in drug, virtual assistant, proposed solution approach, that what kind of solution you can build in this, in AI in healthcare, right? So it has also given you components of that. Now, because we have not specified that what sort of sub you can say subtopic that I want to talk about, whether it's AI in drug discovery, or AI in personalized medicine, or AI in say healthcare research. It is giving me all the answers for all the possible topics that it could think of, right? So it has also given me implementation roadmap, and it has also given me success metrics and conclusion. Now it has also given me the appendix, that it has given you the stats that it is taking are from these kind of papers that you can search online. So I would say, I mean, it's for me to create this, for me to think through and create this document, which I'm seeing right now. It will roughly take, say, nothing but couple of hours. If I sit with my laptop doing no other task than this, then it will roughly take, say, 2 to 3 hours to gather all this information at one place and write about it and everything. But in just, say, seconds, I would say, not even seconds, uh, it has given me the entire paper, and now I am ready to use it, modify it and everything, and I just can copy it, paste in Word, and create my own paper and publish it, right? So, but definitely you need to make sure that you whenever you are publishing some article or anything, you need to make sure that you uh, uh, say tag those specific resources that you're using, and also somewhere mention that this article has been created by say using generative AI, LLMs and like that, not necessarily chat gpt, but that certain part of this article has been created with gen AI capability or something like that. If you're not modifying much of it, right? So that you are not getting into the issues wherein, say, this is AI generated and this is human generated, right? Kind of stuff, right? But I would say I cannot imagine my life without such kind of tools. Now being in AI, I mean, I Hoen will agree with me if she's there on the call. She will agree that before ChatGPT came into picture, there's the traditional way of doing things was much time consuming, much hectic, and much into details and everything. And now it has become very accessible and very easy, and I would really appreciate and make sure that everybody knows about these tools, as well as I would urge all of you to use these tools so that you can leverage the technology for betterment of your life, right? It's technology is for the betterment of our life. It's not something that you should avoid, right? You should use it so that you can master those things, and make sure that you are productive in your day, and you can quickly do the task without wasting much of time on that, and without getting frustrated about it, because that's how the technology is evolving. I think we can also create diagrams, create generate a few images to go in the above solution paper. It will take some time, but yeah, it roughly does some mediocre job on image generations, but because it's not specifically for image generation, right? For content generation, ChatGPT works really well, but for image generations, but yeah, this sort of images is something that it will take, for me it will take almost, say, 30-40 minutes to find such kind of images, right? To go to Google, search for these kind of images and specific images and everything, and it has given me, say, just in one prompt, I would say. Sorry, Lara, you are speaking on mute if you're
Yes, yes. So, so that we can practice, would you mind putting in the chat for us maybe one or two prompts, and maybe the type of prompt, if it's a zero prompt, or if it's a um if it's a, which other one did we learn, if it's for maybe prompt training or tree of thoughts, something like that, just so that we can test it by ourselves after the call
Definitely.
once we
So what
have
I'll do is
access to it.
I would give you a detailed, I would say, guide of prompt engineering, wherein all majority of the examples are there. Even the content that I have referred to is also there in that. I would just paste it in the chat. For
Okay,
you
thank
guys
you.
to have a look at it, so that you have all the instructions and more detailed descriptions and uh, I would say learnings from this site. I mean, this promptguide.ai is all that you need to learn about prompt engineering. All that you need. You need nothing else.
Right.
To they have videos embedded. They have more examples embedded and everything. You can please go through this, and this is all that you need for prompt engineering. Yeah.
Okay, so we have a question there. Is it a skill, this prompt engineering, is it a skill that will grow in importance over time? And what are the possible job opportunities available in this field? Or is it an add-on skill to a career path?
So basically, prompt engineering is one of the major, I would say it's growing as a skill more than a job position, because when you say job prompt engineers, right? Prompt engineers doesn't work on chat GPT, but majorly work on at the back end to make sure that the LLMs give you the desired output, right? In the applications that they are building. It's not about, so the people who are working in the back of chat GPT, they call themselves as prompt engineers because they are making sure that the LLM understand those kind of prompts, right? So there are certain technologies involved there. So it is nothing but it again comes into the bucket of AI engineers and data scientists and senior data scientists and machine learning engineers and all of that. People who are targeting for machine learning engineers, AI engineers, and data scientists, they can easily have this skill in their bucket, and it is a must skill that to master right now, because everybody using ChatGPT as of now, right? People who are not using ChatGPT, majorly the tech people and data scientists and everything, they are considered as something which are not evolving with the field, right now, because today you can also generate code through ChatGPT. There are certain LLMs which are very good at generating codes as well. Now you just need to make sure that you understand those codes and you are able to implement those things into your required questions or your required applications and make use of that, basically. So, Ole,
So
yeah, how do you prompt AI to help you with a structured CV? Yeah, it's in the same way that I have given you the prompt for say creating the solution approach paper, right? You can just say that create a structured CV, and you can provide the structure in the form of an image or so, and it will give you that structure to you.
can he possibly upload an old CV format
Yes,
that probably
can do
has
that.
and then
Yes.
ask for a refinement?
Yes, can do that. Definitely. But it
Okay.
will ask you for all sort of details that it requires to fill in those formats. And you have to build upon that one by one through one prompt, second prompt, third prompt, so that you arrive at a desired output, right? So possibly it will not give you the desired outcome in the first prompt, basis the PDF or anything that you provided to it, but eventually you have to give him all the details so that it can build that structure for you and give it to you.
Great, great. How about those with disabilities? Are they able to? Do they have? Which does the question is, how about users with visual impairments and hearing impairments? How do they use prompt engineering effectively?
Yeah, so I think in on phone, if you're logging into Edge, the Microsoft Edge, right, it will have those that speech button there, wherein you can click on it and it will take your instructions in from speech. It will convert to text and give you the results, right? And there is also a speaker option wherein it will say it will make sure that you hear that answers that the LLM or the tool is giving, right? So basically, for people who have difficulties in say reading or typing those instructions in the phone and everything, they can use text to speech and speech to text functionalities of these tools, and they can easily use that. I mean, I am not sure if all of them have this facility, but certain browsers and I think Google do have speech instructions, right? So if you go on Google and if you open any kind of site, it will have the option to read it for you, or it will have the options to converse with Google in through your mic and like that, right? So possibly you can explore those options. I hope I was able to answer, John.
Yes, I just asked if she would like to speak to shed more light on it if she would like to. So there was another question. How best can you use it for research purposes? So I heard that you spoke about perplexity and then you have given us an example of how to create prompts. So I mean I trust that would
Thanks,
it
John.
may take
Yeah.
you a while. Okay, so you've answered the question. It may take you a while to get used to it. But I really believe that we'll get used to this. We have more sessions coming up.
Yeah.
So if you have if there are questions that are yet unanswered, there are more sessions coming up till the end of till
So
18th
anybody, like,
October.
I hope
So
I was able to make sure that you understand prompt engineering, and I was able to make sure that you understand this tool and techniques that we have discussed today. So I hope if you could just give me a thumbs up that you understood the and followed the entire session, and you're going to have that learning with you and go back to the links that has been provided, and you will learn the skill and make sure that you master the skill by the time we meet next in a month. Perfect. Thank you so much. Thank you for having
thank
me here.
you. We certainly appreciate the fact that you took time to answer every question. and
Thank you so much, Lara, and thank you
we
for this opportunity to share my knowledge with the team, and happy to do that, happy to contribute to the cause. Yeah.
yes was super grateful to you for your time. We know you have some projects to work that you're working on at the moment, and please let us know how we can contribute, if you like us to reshare, or how we can encourage you in that line. How secure is personal data on the paid chat GPT? Is
Yes.
the
So
information likely to be used by another imposter?
okay, so secure, yeah, personal. I would say do not share personal data on Chat GPT free version, because they do take your data to make sure that the LLM learns in the backend, right? It will take consume all that data that is being provided to it. So make sure that you don't share any personal data to Chat GPT. But if that is some general information, definitely you can go ahead and share, because that doesn't matter much. But I would restrict that. No things like bank information, no things like location information and all. I would just refrain from doing that. Please do not share those personal data with ChatGPTs. And but yes, there is a pro paid version as well, which tells us that it is not using your data to make sure that it learns at the back end. The data is not going outside of your session. So possibly the higher version of the paid chat GPT is something that you can use if you are working on some really sensitive data, and like that. So data security is very important aspect, I would say. Then we should definitely be make sure that we are not sharing any personal data with any kind of LLMs or any kind of tools that we are using. So please do not do that. Instead of no, not even ChatGPT, but no other way as well, I would suggest that you should share your personal data.
Thank you, Sandhya, for mentioning the fact of security, and thank you, Ellie, for that question. Because next week, ladies and gentlemen, we're talking about AI and security. So it's a perfect place to wrap up today. As we Okay, I see Phone's hand up. Phone, give me a minute. So it's a perfect place to wrap up today, and introducing us to AI and security that's happening next week. Invite your friend, please mark your calendars, and would certainly like to have you here back next week, and I'm sharing the announcement right now. You can send the link to your friends to join the community and register for the next session. We'll send you a calendar invite so that you can be reminded a few minutes to the call, and we will ensure to keep this learning going. Our YouTube channel is posted so that you can rewatch the sessions, and we'll see you next week. But before then, Foyin.
Thank you, Lara. So you just took the words out of my mouth. I'd like to say a big thank you to Sandhya for your time with us today. A lot has been learned, and I myself, I'm going to go back and watch the recording once it's uploaded on YouTube and try and do some of the practice myself. So it's really great to see all that you've taught us today, and we had very great questions. So big thank you to everyone for joining us as well. And you kind of wrapped it up, as Lara said, spot on, because we'll be here next week to talk about AI and security. So the importance of using AI in a secure way, and we're also going to give some practical examples. So we're kind of just going right in the right direction. Just a big thank you to everyone for coming today, and we'll put out the video once it's up on YouTube, so we can all go back and refresh ourselves and do some additional learning. Thank you. Thank you so much, Sandhya. Thank you, Lara.
Thank you,
everyone
thank you for having
joining.
me.
Lara, back to you.